I am a perfectionist. Honestly, I've been suffering from perfectionism my whole life, but for years I thought it was a strength, something to be proud of. I used to say it with confidence, I'm a perfectionist. When I was a child, I once got a 19 out of 20 in math. I was so happy to show my mom, but she didn't seem pleased at all, so I thought, if I get a perfect 20, maybe she'll finally be proud. Later, I believed that if I got a good rank in the national entrance exam, if I got into the university they wanted, maybe they would finally approve of me. But the more I tried, the more the bar kept moving higher. The closer I got to their standards, the higher their expectations became. And that's when I realized my parents were never going to be satisfied with me. No matter what I achieved, I was never going to be enough for them. Now I'm an adult, and I no longer proudly say I'm a perfectionist, but I still see its effects everywhere in my life. For example, I was supposed to make this video a month ago, but I delayed it because I kept thinking, if I wait a little longer, it will be perfect. I felt like I had to read every book ever written about perfectionism before I could write a flawless script. This is why I procrastinate so much. I am terrified of doing anything imperfectly. I can't start unless I know I can do it perfectly. For example, if I want to try a sport, the first question I ask myself is, can I win a gold medal in this? And often, because of the fear of failure, I never even start. Even when I do start, if I can't reach my unrealistic standards quickly, I get discouraged and quit. This all or nothing mindset is everywhere in my life. Once, during an exam, I knew half the answers, but still left the whole thing blank because I couldn't accept just 50%. If I wake up late, I feel like the entire day's ruined, and I'd rather throw the day away than continue with a half-done plan. Making decisions is one of the hardest things for me. That's why I prefer online shopping. I can see all the options, compare them, and pick the perfect one. But my cart is still full of items I've never ordered because I'm still not sure if they're the best choice. I rarely delegate work because I don't trust others to meet my standards. Even if I'm completely overwhelmed, I'd rather do everything myself. And sometimes I judge those around me because they don't meet my expectations. They don't read, they don't plan, they don't take care of themselves. That's why I have very few close friends. Only those who somehow passed my invisible standards. And unsurprisingly, most of them are perfectionists too. The hardest moments for me are when I make a mistake in public, say the wrong word, or say something I shouldn't have said. Because I'll replay it in my head for days, punishing myself over and over. And if someone criticizes me, I won't rest until I prove them wrong, because deep down, I'm terrified of other people seeing my flaws. Inside my head lives a very strict, judgmental voice. When I succeed at something, the first thing it says is, "This wasn't a big deal. Anyone could do that. You should do more." And when I fail, it celebrates and says, "See? You really are incompetent." For this voice, nothing is ever good enough. Only absolute perfection can silence it. But the truth is, perfection doesn't exist. Perfectionism is not a badge of honor. It's a cage. And living in that cage can lead to anxiety, depression, and endless self-criticism. So what can we do? The first step is to change how we think about the word enough. When I feel like something is never enough, I lose motivation and feel hopeless. Instead, I started telling myself it's enough for now. This small shift creates space for growth. It means I did something, I can improve it later, instead of I will never be satisfied. Second, we need to change how we talk to ourselves. Imagine a close friend comes to you after making a mistake. You wouldn't attack them with cruel words. You'd be kind, understanding, and supportive. Treat yourself the same way. Third, write a list of the things you tend to overthink or delay because of perfectionism. Then break them into the smallest possible steps. If your goal is to work out 1 hour a day, start with 5 minutes. Even stretching for a few minutes counts. These micro habits are easy to do, and consistency builds confidence. Fourth, use the binary rule. Your goal is simply to do the task, not to do it perfectly. If you do it, you get a 1. If you skip it, you get a 0. Quality doesn't matter at first, because quality comes from quantity over time. Fifth, write down your wins. No matter how small they seem, when you look back, you'll see how far you've come. And finally, sometimes you have to rebel against your perfectionist brain. Do something imperfect on purpose. Laugh too loud in public, post something that isn't perfectly edited, leave a small task unfinished. Then notice how nothing terrible actually happens. Perfectionism thrives in silence and fear. But when we take action, even imperfect action, it loses its power. So today, I invite you to take one imperfect step. Start the project you've been postponing. Write the messy first draft. Speak up even if your voice shakes. Because you don't need to be perfect to make progress. You just need to start.